The Earth Our Home exhibit invites us to see through artists' eyes and to reflect on our place in Earth community and to take action to preserve our common home. So these works of art in a variety of media highlight the beauty, suffering, biodiversity, and what Teilhard de Chardin calls the breathing together of all things. May we realize through these works of artists' hands that everything is interconnected. May we be energized and inspired to nurture our relationships with Earth, with all beings, and with the natural systems that sustain us. This exhibit reflects our Adrian Dominican mission and vision, in which we commit to live in right relationship with Earth community. The artwork is that of sisters, local artists, some from the Adrian Center for the Arts, and friends from Detroit. I'm Sister Suzanne Schreiber, coordinator of INAI. I'm your narrator for this tour of the Earth Our Home exhibit. On the back wall is a large photograph, black and white, called God's Promises, done by Gosia Nowinska-Roberge. Gosia is a photographer from Dearborn. Here we have Sunburst and Transitions, both watercolors by Sister Kate O'Brien, IHM, our cousin from down the River Raisin. Reflection is by Elizabeth Quigley, who's a local artist from the Adrian Center for the Arts, and she does her work from sketches at Hidden Lake Gardens. The medium is oil paint and oil pastel. This is a Ford Road Oak. It's a watercolor by Catherine Pellica. Catherine sees the divine right in front of her. Here are two photographs by Sister Sue Schreiber. One is called Oak Tree, Detroit, and the other From the Same Roots. All Her Paths Are Peace is a painting by Shirley van Benschoten from the Adrian Center for the Arts. She describes her work as liquid landscapes with movement and fluidity. On the fourth day is Oil Paint on Linen by Kim Schmidt. She's a local artist. She painted this after the 2016 election. She says, "I felt a strong need for peace and tranquility. What I was seeking flowed naturally into my art." In her work, Chris has captured moments from a late afternoon golden hour, pinks of early morning, and warm light breaking through a stormy sky. Artists at Home is an oil painting on linen done by Julie Sabat from Detroit. She finds it exciting to show unposed gestures or people relating to each other in ordinary life. Here you have two artists. This is a Sunrise Meditation by Sister Janice Holcup. It was taken at Haystack Rock, Cannon Beach, Oregon, a place of meditation and wonder, Janice says, and a home to many species of birds. This is a color photograph. Sister Kathleen Voss here with her digital painting, New Moon. She uses a Corel Painter program on the computer. Kathleen describes herself in the words of Gandhi, quote, "a friend to all living things," end quote. Her relationship with creation informs her art and her spirituality. House Wren and Stargazer. Here are Sisters Sue Schreiber and Sister Helen Mayer at the opening reception for the Earth Our Home exhibit. Black Iris is a watercolor by Sister Janet Wright. She says that issues of climate change have influenced her recent work. She also did this watercolor called Morning Doves. Sanctuary is a large stoneware piece by Amy Philp from Adrian Center for the Arts. Amy juxtaposes the human figure with the birds. Our sanctuary, within and without, is created in relationship to nature. Amy also created this stoneware piece for the cemetery at the Adrian Center for the Arts, which was once the Adrian Training School where some of our sisters taught. The birds represent the girls who died of typhoid or TB and are buried there. Somewhere a Garden is an oil painting by Anne Fracassa from Detroit. Her concern is air and water pollution. But there is hope because people are planting gardens everywhere. Anne says if we take care of Earth, she will take care of us. Broken Chain is a porcelain piece by Pi Benio, who is the head of the Adrian Center for the Arts, the director. She says, and I quote, "This work was inspired by microscopic one-celled beings that inhabit the silt in lakes. They're called diatoms. They are indicators of environmental integrity and are very sensitive to pollutants and sewage contamination. All life hangs in the balance. We are not separate from or above nature. Pi fears that we will harm nature beyond its capacity to recover." I Rise Up by Jane Archambault, a local artist. Jane used a 40-pound block of red clay as she went through the process of forming this image, rising out of earth. She believes we need to bind together to heal Earth and one another. Here we have two cast bronze pieces by Ken Thompson from Flatlanders in Blissfield. They're from his series, Castles for the New Economy. First one is Vacation Home, and the second one is Collapsing Dreams. Ken exposes an economic system in which many people have lost their homes. He's outraged that this can happen. His materials are metaphors. In his series Lightweight Dwellings for a New Era, Ken illustrates his outrage after Hurricane Katrina. This piece is called Tie It Up with a Nice Bow and No One Will Notice. Here we have two photos by Melinda Ziegler, a graphic designer. The first one is Chess Dance, and the second one is Pairs. Melinda hopes to lead viewers to see more deeply and in different ways as she seeks to grow through her own experience. As a photographer, she finds beauty in the simple and the ordinary. She's always seeing with new eyes. Misty Sunset is a hand-dyed weaving by Sister Krista Marsick. We see the colors of dusk and the pinks and mauves of sunset. Weft yarns have been bound randomly and then dyed and hand-manipulated on the loom. The Past Is Now by Mary Lou Olds was created with charcoal and pastel. It was inspired by Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Monument. She sees natural wonders as great gifts that must be preserved for future generations. Ceramic Leaves by Amy Anderson, who each year looks forward to leaves coming to life on trees, bushes, and plants, she says. Here she has 3 platters: spring leaf, summer leaf, and cabbage leaf. Sister Nancy Ann Turner calls this weaving recycle, reclaim, for sake of earth. And that is what she has done here with these materials. Her weavings speak to her of the colors and the life-death process of earth. Some yarns she uses were hand-spun. Others were dyed with earth pigments and or dyes made from plants. Here we have Sister Nancy Ann with her weaving called I Thirst. Here we have Sister Nancy Ann's weaving Earth is My Home, along with Kathleen Voss's moon, and also the sunflowers, God's promises. Whirling Waters is by Sister Krista Marsick. The fabric is silk, which is the product of silkworms. The raw fibers are spun into silken yarns and woven into the fine fabric. The fabric is placed on a gel-type medium that contains colorful acrylic paints that have been swirled into patterns like flowing, swirling waters. And here is the kimono, hand-woven by our sister Sarah Jane Seaver. It's part of the INAI permanent collection. We have come to the end of this Earth Our Home tour. Artists have shown us the beauty of Earth and have also expressed concerns for our common home. And so we ask, what is Earth asking of us? What are we to do, to be?